I've just put together a brand new...
Impatience is growing and growing, and our frustration is showing and showing. But yeah, we keep going and going. But it's family forever. We've done it over and over. Will we ever reach the end? How do we get through the night? Or do we have to fight? Ever wake ourselves to spark the willing night? Maybe we can redefine what it means to get excited.
Hello and welcome everybody. It's that time of the week to round out this week's action in MRL here at Belgium. We've been here all week. This time it's for the Formula 2 community event, and joining me for F2 as always, Mr. Alex Bido. Alex, how are you doing this evening, my friend?
Hello, Unicorn. Very good here, and we're waiting for the drivers to be, here driving on Spa on the F2 cars, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Spa. It's been pretty crazy so far this week. We have had a lot of dramatic action here around the Belgian Grand Prix circuit, and I think it's fair to say that I think we expect nothing less from the F2 cars. So it's a very long lap time, and I think in the slower F2 cars, that is only going to be heightened here because obviously they are slower than the Formula 1 cars, so the lap count won't be incredibly high, but the race length should be about the same, or the races should be about the same. Obviously, the two 50% distance races here in F2 with the one-shot qualifying preceding both of them. I do think we have a full grid, just as we had last week, where we had 21 drivers rather than 20, but obviously the lobby doesn't accommodate for that one. We've got 2 spectators in here, unfortunately, but we do have 20 drivers. I don't think that we're going to be waiting on anyone else. I think we should be just about good to go.
Yes, I think we're good right now. So everyone here on the chat who's driving, just ready up, as we are going to start this one-shot qualifying. And of course, race distance will be 50% for each of the races today. Of course, the principal, the main, and the sprint race.
Yeah, and with the weather dynamic all to play for, that dynamic weather, we saw it take a huge grip of the APAC race this morning, where we saw a little bit of intermediate qualifying to dry and then a full wet race ending on the slick compounder tyres. If we saw something like that today in the F2, where we don't have the intermediate tyres, Alex, we just have the full wets. It's all or nothing with the F2 cars, so we have to see how we go, see what sort of weather forecast we get when we load in. We've got 15 seconds on the session clock, so we'll get that switched over in just a moment, because obviously we'll just go straight into one-shot qualifying. We'll see who it puts us on board with, and then obviously no formation ups either. It's always instant racing. A big thank you for everyone joining us here. We're once again on YouTube, so if you can, just help us out. Hit that like button. It really does mean the world. And also a big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, wheel stand, that kind of thing, to elevate your racing to the next level, then be sure to check them out in the description down below. But with that being said, we are loading into qualifying. We just need to wait for everyone to connect to the session. And it's a little bit overcast. I don't think it's raining, but it's definitely cloudy.
I don't think it's raining, at least not on my screen. Should be overcast here on Spa. It's normal to see this. I think we saw this on qualifying on APEC today, and as well as on the part of the race before it got sunny and everyone went to the dries. But at the moment, waiting for these drivers to, of course, load in and load the setups as well. Very important.
Yeah, setups, particularly in these sort of mixed races where they go from wet to dry and back again. A really good balanced setup is key. Ben the Bear this morning, very good setup, very adaptable as well. We're on board with Jimsy then for our qualifying lap. That's who the game has put us on board with us. We look to see how well he does. So let's get everything enabled, see what it is. Obviously softs across the board here. One of 2 tyres of the dry compounds that are available to us. We've got Jimsy right now in P12 as he comes up through Eau Rouge and Rodillion in the high-tech GP car. Nikita Mazepin's F2 car before he got promoted to the Haas F1 team. Coming down the Kemmel straight right now, down towards Les Combes, turn 7, a big overtaking point in this track, and we see a lot of side-by-side fighting through here. 8 and now into 9. You can see everyone dancing around. Jimsy down to 13th place. We've currently got Brainstew on pole. He is a fairly consistent driver in these qualifying sessions here in F2. We see him on the top spot quite frequently, but we're on board with Jimsy as he comes through. Turn 11, he made a position or two there as he hops into 13th place. Dancing around with Well, you can see, look at the positional swaps between the likes of Matt Henner's back row. All of that shuffling in that mid-pack. Welsh Toast, he has had an incident. He is out of this one. Mark has had a connection problem as well. You can just see Jimsy here takes Lavelle. He's into P12 now as he comes through 15. Stavelot into the final sector. Now through 16. Charging down this long back straight. Separated by 2 corners. Here's the first one. Blanchimont turns 17. Now just still full throttle. Even the F2 cars here nearing 200 miles an hour as he comes down into the bus stop chicane. Turns 19 and 20. A little bit shaky on the entrance, but very composed throughout the corners. And a nice exit as well. Brains to a 153.6. He sets Jimsy. He didn't seem to full throttle across the line, so not quite sure what happened there, but it's 13th place for the high-tech driver.
Very good lap. It wasn't enough to be there on the top 10. He will be setting 13 pole position, and 4 points will be for Brinsty on that, on the Universal, as he always likes to be in. Rutenius 8 tenths behind the Italian. He will start on 2nd place on the first row, and back row, not on the back row, but on 3rd place with Psycho there alongside him. Henners will complete the top 5. Matt, Eric, Squid, Coffee Sipper, and Lovell will round that top 10.
Yeah, and the times here are pretty split up. There's not really, I'm not seeing too many close gaps on this grid. Maybe between Astonishing and Jimsy there for P12 and 13. But that timing tower looked a bit broken up in terms of the discrepancies between the times. So let's see if things get a little bit closer, as we are in a very sunny Belgium right now. It was a little bit overcast in qualifying, but here in the race, things are looking much brighter, much warmer. And we'll see how that plays into things. I believe it's going to be dry throughout the entire race.
I don't think anyone said anything. Any driver there on the chat said anything about the weather forecast. So it shouldn't be any complication. Probably dry on both races. So we will be watching there right now this race.
Yeah, we're just waiting for everyone to load in. There we go. We got 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights here on in Belgium. Still waiting for a few people to connect, but it is lights out and away we go then. A lot of tire smoke coming up. Rutenius, what a start he's got as they go down towards turn 1. He's side by side with Brainstew through turn 1. Back row Psycho there, side by side as well. Rutenius hasn't found Brainstew, but back row has lost the position to Psycho. There's been a bit of a problem further down. Neon and Jimsy, they've come together. No damage for either car as the rest of the grid comes up through Rouge and Radillion. Behind them, Eric on the rear of Squid. He's got Coffee Sipper behind him too. Look at these guys. They might go 3 wide here as they come down toward Lacom. Who's going to be first to it? It's Squid just ahead of the Reamer, and Coffee Sipper now looking on the outside of Eric, and he finds the move as well. What a move from him. He just found that open door. Baymal up at the top. Brainstew drops yet another position. Psycho picks off the pole position sitter, but Brainstew with the switchback through turn 10, managing to just cling on to P2 for the time being. This is allowing Rutenius to run away with it a little bit. And what an excellent first lap we have seen here.
Very intense back row now, very close on the back of Psycho of the Prema Racing car. Now on the outside, we'll try it as Forderson has a spin, I think, before Puon, even on the apex of Puon. Now Psycho holding that place on turn 13. Right now, losing a little bit of time with Brainstew. 1.2 seconds is the difference, as Coffee Sipper has a mistake as well on 13 and 14. I think we spun out of turn 14. Very common mistake, and he doesn't have front left empty, I think.
Yeah, definitely some sort of damage on that car, but we'll see who gets the better of it here. Back row, Psycho still side by side. Very wide for Psycho, though, and they've got Henners all over the rear of them. He looks like he was going to go out the middle of them. He's not. He might try and follow Psycho through, though. Past back row in 4th right now. Henners' teammate, Matt, is just behind him in 6th place. But no positions change here through the bus stop chicane. Meanwhile, Brainstew, he's hunting Rutenius back down. He is using that pace that we saw in qualifying. He did not have the race start that he would have wanted. But now he's putting the Dutchman under a lot of pressure. The MP Motorsport car ahead of him. under increasing amounts of fire from Brains to the Univirtuosi is looking for a way by. We're only on lap 2. We will not have DRS as they run down towards Lecom. But there he goes, breezing past the Dutchman. Can Rutanius be later on the brakes to defend it up the inside? He's not been later, but he's going to go a little bit lighter. But Brains just squeezes him so as not to find enough room. But Rutanius is going to fight back. It's not enough right now. Back row. He is fighting with Psycho. Brains to Rutanius. They're still side by side through turn 10. And then Matt
amazing.
Psycho. It's all exchanging.
I think Psycho had a mistake on traction there. He doesn't have damage, the Premier driver, but at the moment dropping to pin 9, and Mark will try to take a look there before Puan. Doesn't seem like might be the safest move there before Puan, but Lobel going wide a little bit there on P8, and Psycho will try to take those pieces there because Psycho is now on the outside and Mark is just holding there. There's a yellow flag. I think it's the BWT of Moen who lost control on Puan. It seems like a very dangerous corner for these F2 drivers.
Yeah, a few problems here, there, and everywhere for a couple of these drivers now. The grid starting to space itself out a little bit. We're seeing pockets of drivers form around Spa here, and that's as a result of some of these mistakes. We just saw Moen there slide off at full on. Now,
Brains very close to Rutinius. I have to tell you something. Rutinius hold impressively that place there on Lescom and as well on Bruxelles, because that was amazing. He actually had to dive on the inside of Bruxelles, and well, he hold P1, but right now DRS enabled, and Bristol is just behind him on DRS window.
Who was that Psycho missing out there? Mark, he's getting 2 places, Alex. Coming out of the bus stop chicane, Psycho now with a dive up the inside. And Lavelle's going to look to follow him through here as well. There's a lot of action going on down in the middle section of this grid. But it's Brains to Rutanius. The fight for the lead. And it's the Italian going around the outside of the Dutchman here. Coming down the Camel Straight. And there he goes. He picks off P1. Hennes up into P3.
And Mark up into P8 as well. Another overtake. And not only him, but Lobel will trade on the outside part of the entry on Lycom. It seems like very tight there, but Trident car will be just ahead of Psycho, who just drops to P10. I think he started on this race on on the top 5, and now he's dropping massively. He was fighting for almost the lead as he's trying a move on the Bruxelles there on the inside. A little bit of a tap there on the back of the Trident car, but will be still on track.
Well, they're all sort of separating out a little bit now, and the opening few laps have calmed down. They are setting in for the long haul. We've still got 10 laps to go after this one that we're on right now. And it's all just a waiting game, seeing how everything plays out. Rutanius, he's not let Brains go yet. He needs to stay within DRS to enable him to reel him back in. Try and get back past the Italian. Maybe go for some sort of undercut if he can. You can see now the slipstream providing Rutanius here a little bit of an advantage compared to Brains as they come down this huge long back straight.
Eric will try. The Squid goes wide on Blanchimon and takes a penalty of 3 seconds. Squid going a little bit wide, I think, there on bus stop. No, actually, he hits the apex good as Brains sets the fastest lap, but Eric was very, very close. I think it was the slipstream, as you said. A lot of powerful, but now Mark going into the pit lane. I think he doesn't have damage. He will just pit and change those tires. It's lap 4 from 13, and well, he's doing, I think, the usual strategy here on Spa.
Yeah, absolutely. We've also got Eric there in 7th place. Medium compound tires. It'll be interesting to see where he sort of lands himself in this one. Rutanius with DRS. Can he do anything to answer to Brainstew? It might be just that. Brainstew opposite the inside. Rutanius around the outside. Easy as you like. Back row has done a similar move on Hennes for P3. Eric, Squid. They're exchanging 2 bits. Squid's very late on the brakes. Goes up the inside into turn 7. Little bit of wheel banging. And they've spun in the same synchronization. Squid tried to save it. He spins backwards. And now they are both off the track. It has been a beneficial to neither of them. And Fabry Flame just about avoids Eric and Squid there. We just joined right in front of the car that he just spun with. So I think Stewart's after this one might take a little bit of a look at that rejoin from Squid, because he just seemed to throttle down and spin that car back on track at the wrong time.
Yeah, it was well synchronized spin as we saw. Now Eric, who was in a very good position, he was on P7, I think, on those mediums. Now down into P12 and the third on his strategy. Now Lobel and Faber Flame have an exchange. I think Faber Flame just took it before, well, after one, but it seems like Lobel has damage.
Well, I don't know if he was caught up in all of that. I'm not quite sure, but Lavelle is missing a big portion of that front when he goes straight off. He can't make the corner of Stavelot, so he is into the gravel. Rutanius, Brainsu, both into the pit lane. Rutanius in lead of things as they come through into the pit lane, and Brainsu gives him a little bit of tap as they go and slow down for the timing line. Back row, he stays out. Henna stays out as well. They're taking in softs another lap at least, so they
Matt
can
is,
do Eric.
Matt is spitting.
Must be
Eric
right
down
inside
the
for
inside, I
Eric.
think.
Here you go.
Astonishing, having a 3-second time penalty. The first driver on the mediums, they're having a penalty, but he was defending very good on Wellstoast. He's just recovering. He's doing a comeback, I think, after not the best qualifying he had. But a good exit from the terrorist driver on La Source. Very, very close indeed, but I don't think that's the best thing to be before Rouge and Rallion Complex, because now he has to have a very good exit, but not to be that much closer. But he now has the DRS, and I think that can be an easy move for Wellstoast.
Yeah, you've seen it time and time again down into this corner. Who is that with an issue? Is that Fordos Sedan? It is. Going very slowly. It looks like he might have some wing damage as he lets past Moen. Lets past Matt. Richanius, he came out of the pits in 10th. Brainstew came out in 8th place. So I don't quite know how that's happened, how that position is so vast, considering we saw Brainstew right behind Rutanius on entrance. So I don't know where he's found those positions. Rutanius now up into P9. We'll hop on board with that in just a moment here, but we've got Eric defending Astonishing for P5 right now, and we just saw him have an unfortunate move. Went raw poorly as Astonishing goes very wide through full on.
He doesn't have damage, I think. It's just understeer of the F2, and he wasn't used to that. Brainstew up into P7. Taking that as an opportunity now. Very close on Jimsy. Ooh, the difference of pace is noted there. You can see how Brainstew wants to go faster on that apex, but Jimsy just a little bit slower. Retinas as well taking the place on Astonishing, who, well, just has gravel on his side, so probably he went wide.
Yep, nice move for Brainstew, really just carving his way through the grid. Rutanius needs to do the same if he has any hope of sticking with the Italian for race win. Mark Psycho there, pretty close on track right now. You've got Mark right behind Psycho, the SMP racing car versus the high tech. The top three, they come into the Henna's, back row, Fabry Flame, all getting off those starting softs to go to the end on medium compound tires.
Seems like only Borok will be the last driver on those softs to not pit yet, as Neon gets a 3-second time penalty. I think he is, well, down on the last place, and he changed already his tires, so I really don't know if he's driving, but he's there on last place.
I'm not quite sure who this is. They've got many little acronyms before their names, so I can't actually tell who it is, but this ART driver is having a little bit of a problem right now, but I can't tell who it is. Back row passes Vorok for P6. The Trident taking.
Mark will try it as well. Mark is very close on Psycho. He's lurking there on the back of the primary driver. Right now we'll activate that DRS. Psycho's vulnerable. He doesn't have anything to defend with. And right now the high-tech driver is just to the left. I think he touched the wall.
It sure looked like it. He got very close to that metal barrier if he didn't hit it. He's got no visible damage, but that doesn't mean he's okay. He might have a little bit of a scratch on that front wing, and even that can be felt here. Hennes passes Varrock in a similar fashion to how Backrow did it earlier on, and he will chase down the Trident car in hopes of finding what could be a podium position up for grabs here with Jimsy, Eric, Welchtoast all yet to pit. Hennes.
Look at Brainstew. Look at Brainstew. He's very close on his teammate. Eric will try to defend, but he's a pit stop down, so I really don't know if it's worth. It's very close. It's very close to comfort right now. And Eric will stay ahead on Blanchimon, but Brainstew with the slipstream. And it seems like a very good straight at speed. He will straight on the outside of bus stop Chicane, both holding Eric. releases the brakes before Brainsteel, and he will hold P2, but it's costing a lot of time to Brainsteel. On Rutenius now will try to close that gap. He doesn't have the RS yet, the MP Motorsport driver, but he will soon have if they continue battling these two teammates for Univirtuosi as well. Rutenius is actually there already, and now he's on the RS window of these two drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. This is bad news for Brainstew, who has held off the Dutch driver for quite some time now. Let's see what happens between the two Univirtuosi cars as they come out of Eau Rouge. Now down onto the Kemmel straight out of turn 6. On board with Brainstew, and he's just breezed past Eric right now. Takes P2 away from his teammate, but Rutenius with the DRS closing back in, and you can see now how close they are. Brainstew very visible from Rutenius' cockpit, but we'll see if any team dynamics. Obviously, there's no combined constructors to play for here in the F2, so teammates don't always work together as much as you might see it in normal MRL tiered action. But let's see if Eric holds up Rutenius, whether or not it's intentional or not. Hennes is trying to away past Jimsy out of turn 10. Nicely done for him, but back on board with Rutenius. It looked like he might have had a look up the inside of Fuan. What a save from the Dutchman to not spin that after giving Eric a little bit of a nudge to the rear there. A big slide for Rutenius, and he'll be happy he caught it. But at the same time, that will have knocked his confidence a little bit. Those scares can get to you.
Ooh, now Wavy and Coffee Sipper battling there on last comms. The RC driver on the inside for Bruxelles. We will see who will break later. Seems like the Jams driver will try to hold it on the outside, but it's very difficult to do that on that corner now, almost oversteering there, and on the entry of No Name, no angle to really steer there and hold the position, but he's doing it. The Jams driver right now is just behind the RC, so down into Puon as Brainsteel, I think, overtakes Wellstoast for the lead of this race.
Yeah, back up into P1, and Rutenius has yet to dispatch of Eric. He might do it here though, down into turn 1. Let's see what the Dutchman has got as he fires it down towards La Source. He will not be close enough to make the lunge work here. He hasn't even forced Eric wide with that look, so Eric not at all worried about Rutenius from behind, but I don't think it's going to be too long until we see these guys come in for softs, and that could be a problem for Rutenius because he'll lose DRS, which has enabled Brainstew to run away a little bit from his rival here in this first feature race. Obviously the sprint race to follow in just a moment. We've also, Alex, we've not seen a safety car, we've not seen a VSC, we haven't seen a retirement, but we have seen Rutenius take P3.
Oh, what a move. What a move. He tried it there on the inside. It was very difficult because Eric defended well on the inside, so he had to take outsider line even for that corner, and not always is the best. Rutenius got it, but right now it's 2.6 the gap between him and his closest rival on the same strategy was Brainsteel, as Wellstoast and Eric have to pit yet. We're on lap 8 of 13, and they're on the reverse strategy.
Yeah, nicely done from Rutenius there to get that move achieved. There's a big slide from February Flame, and that lets Mark through. He just lost the position to Psycho and then just unsettled the car a little bit. As behind them, we have many overtakes. What's happened here for Eric? He's dropping positions, and Hennes has found his way through, as well as Back Crow. So Eric now back down to P6. He was doing so well. He had a bit of an issue. He drops back down, and now he's back here again.
I don't know if he has damage. It's really going.
He's got a massive portion of his front left. Yeah.
He's missing a lot. He's missing a lot. That's a shame because he now has to pit on this lap. Forced to pit on this lap. Of course, it's on his window to pit for softs as he goes really wide, and Matt will take that place as well as Wellstone's going to the pits. So it seems like it wasn't the same lap he was going to pit, probably Eric, but he has to replace that damage, and of course that time lost already. I think more than 10 seconds after having that damage on the front left, if I'm not mistaken. So right now Mark very close on Psycho.
Yeah, there are worse times to get damage like that on your car, but he won't be too happy about it. Mark now, like you say, looking for it through down into the bus stop chicane, not finding anything there as they come out of the chicane to start lap 9 of 13. Not too long left to go now in this first feature race as these guys pick up a couple of positions from those in the pit lane. There is Welsh Toast. It is. Welsh Toast has just come out in front of these guys, and I don't think he's quite up to speed yet. Let's see. What is the speed difference going into Eau Rouge? I think Welsh Toast has just secured it, but if he can't carry it, he can't. Psycho now looking to take P6 away from him. He does, but can Mark follow through. Oh, he is going to follow through. Look at this. He is absolutely flying as they come down towards turn 7 at Lacombe. Mark unable to get Psycho, but he did get the position from Welsh Toast, so he won't be too disheartened by that. He's still up into P7. Now he might get the run on Psycho. The SMP racing car defends the inside line down into turn 10. Mark a little bit early on the base to try and get the switch back. This is going to be a brilliant move if he can get it executed. He can't now through No Name, and it's not going to be for the high-tech driver, but he is putting the pressure on in the right spots, and if I was Psycho, I would be very, very worried that he was going to do something like that, because what a move that is on the inside of Fuon. And now Psycho's vulnerable to Welsh Toast, who's just come out of the pits on those fresh shots. They're starting to get up to temperature. Little bit of a squeeze to send Welsh Toast to the inside means that Psycho stays ahead in P7 and retains that spot on track. But that battling, if that continues, is excellent news for Mark, who's just taken P6 away from Psycho there.
Fantastic battle now. Welsh will try it with Slipstream on the Prema driver Psycho. Now on the inside of Longimon. I think a little bit of lag there before that corner, turn 18. So Welsh will just be behind him. He has the DRS, of course, but he needs to fight with Mark because, of course, they are not on the same strategy, but he doesn't want Mark to really open that gap, as Mark has a mistake out of the bus stop chicane, and Psycho will take that place. Right now up into P6, and Wellsto's looking there all the action now on the inside of Mark. He will try it on Lasurs. There's an exchange as well between Routinius and Backrow, I think, on Campbell Straight, as Routinius up into P2. Backrow had a mistake. No, probably Routinius had a mistake because the gap, I think, was even bigger, but Henners as well back on the back of this podium.
Yeah, Mark managing to just fend off Welsh Toast for the time being through a Rouge. And he retains P7, but he's going to go for P6. He is not satisfied where he is, but look at Psycho there. Just cutting across late on the brakes, defending that line, and he defends it well. Henners, he's lost out to his teammate, and he is going very slowly, actually, in that Carlin. He has got a big bit of damage.
He did a mistake on no name, sorry. I don't know if he hit back row. I think that can be the case, or probably a spin into the barrier as well. It can be an issue for the Carlin driver right now. Down into P5, and with that damage, I think it could cost more positions now as Neon retires on the pits.
Coffee Sipper right now is under a lot of pressure. If I'm right, he's just lost the position to Wavy, and he might just lose the position to Jimsy and maybe even Eric as well, given that tire differentiation. He is not looking in good shape right now. He's got a lot of fast movers around him, and his tires, they aren't going to help him in this scenario. Behind them, Eric and Jimsy, they're having a little bit of a tussle for 13th. And Coffee Sipper, this is going to be good news for him, but Eric, we've seen he's got some pace around here already today. Let's see if he can make it work. Meanwhile, this battle for P6 still rages on. Henners into the pits to replace that damaged front wing. Let's see, can Mark find a way past Psycho, or can Welsh take the pair of them with those fresh stops? Mark, big spin for him out of that final corner. He had a mistake last time. This time, it's even worse for him. And he is all the way around, facing the wrong way. Back down with Coffee Sipper and Eric. They're side by side, a bit of contact. And who is that around the outside? I think that's Jimsy there. Just taking a little bit of advantage of the situation that's developing. Eric, a little bit of contact between the two of them. Eric very late on the brakes, down into turn 1. And he picks up 11 in La Source. So very nicely done from the Univirtuosi car. Meanwhile, Welsh Toast, Psycho. Welsh Toast trying to put some fresh shots to the work. They don't. They are both around. Oh, and Fabry Flamed as well to react to that one. Getting through there scot-free, damage-free. He is very fortunate.
Up into P5. I think he started last. Oh, I don't know if he has damage, but he just understeered brutally there on Bruxelles as Eric jumps into, not jumping, but I think defending from Jimsy after the move he did on Lasers. And right now he's, defending there. He's close to the points because Wavy, Astonishing, Mark, and Wellstos have penalties, but Eric is clean at the moment. 2 laps and a half to go. Actually, 2 laps and 2 corners as Prince is already on bus stop. To go to end this main race here on Spa.
Squid and Moen at the back of the grid right now, both on damage. They're side by side through turn 10. Seems a little bit risky, but when you're inside the points, you may as well have a little bit of fun with it. And Squid has taken Moen for 18th place there, but Squid is the one with worse damage. And as a result, Moen picks him back up through No Name.
They're still side by side. That's the point of racing. It's the fun. But right now, Eric.
Wavy's out. There's been a big incident here. A big incident. Oh, that's a very dangerous rejoin from Eric and the Univirtuosi. And well, he is well and truly out of this one. I don't think anyone can be surprised that that's just happened. And I think we're too close to the end to have a safety car or a VSC. And I think that's Squid just basically just not turning because he can't. He's got so much damage, taking that corner far too quickly for what his car is now capable of. And he is struggling big time in that Premium Motorsport. Further up, let's have a look. Henners. Well, he pitted for a fresh front wing. He was much higher up than this moments ago, and he's now going to try getting a bit of traction out of turn 1 on Coffee Sipper. And has traction, has he got? Look at that Carlin. He is looking to take P12 away, and he does. He takes it. Or P11, sorry, for Coffee Sipper. Coffee Sipper picks up 3-second time penalty. You can't be surprised. You just saw him cut. There's a turn 5 coming out of the Eau Rouge Rodelian section of track by Coffee Sipper. What a run he's got. Down into turn 7 at Les Sources. Les Sources turn 1. And there's a big jostle between them. And Hannah stays ahead.
It was massive. Right now, back row. Very close on the MP Motorsport driver, Rutenius, who's now on P2 after, well, almost all the race being there, as Brainsteel on a few moments will cross the line to start that last lap of the race. But look at back row. I think he's just timing it perfectly to do it on the Camel Straight.
Yeah, we're on that final lap. And Brainstew was fighting it out. He doesn't have the best starts necessarily, and we saw Rutenius try and take advantage of that. But now, 6.3 seconds away, much like qualifying, very strong performance from the Italian. Now, Jimsy all over the rear of Astonishing on fresh softs. Let's see if he can do anything. But actually, it's back row on the last lap, looking for P2. It's the battle for podium positions. And back row takes P2 away from Rutenius, coming down into Lake Orms. And is it too late for the Dutchman to do anything about it? Does he have an answer to back row? He picks up a 3-second time penalty. And I think that right there is game over for Rutenius.
Got it too much, turn 9. You can put almost four wheels there outside the track, but you need to have a portion. And Rutenius didn't have that one. As for Dorsan and Coffee Sipper, I think Coffee Sipper going to the pits there on almost last lap as Squid as well, limping back to the line, I guess, with that tremendous damage he has on the front wing. Zimzi very close, as well as Fabri Flame and Psycho exchanging positions right now as comes, and the inside was Psycho. They're up to P5, but he has a 3-second time penalty, so probably that can cost him that place on P5. Fabri Flame, I think, he knows that, and he doesn't want to risk anything as Astonishing and Zimzi have an exchange on Camel Straight as well. Right now, the high-tech driver, Zimzi having more penalties than Astonishing. So Henners probably could be the winner out of that, who's just now on the exit of turn 9, trying to get the best exit possible, now diving on Bruxelles, squeezing a little bit there the dams, who's now down to P11 as Brainsteel is on bus stop chicane and will try to cross this and win this race after an amazing performance here in Spa. Brainsteel, the Italian driver, will cross first and taking the fastest lap as well on that last lap.
Yeah, and back row beats Rutenius to the line, and I don't think it would have mattered anyway, given that Rutenius picked up that penalty late in the race. That doesn't cost him P3, though, to Matt behind, who finishes 5 seconds behind them after penalties are applied. Then we still have a little battle going for P5, and I think Fabri Flame should get it, because he has not got a penalty, and Psycho does. So let's see what happens here at the tail end of things as the SMP racing car, who will be first to cross the line. Now, through the bus stop chicane, here comes Psycho to find the checkered flag. He takes P5, but it's Fabri Flame who gets promoted. Welsh Toast crosses 7th. There's a battle going on for P9. Henners, he's got no penalties, so it's not really a problem for him, but he takes P9 on track. Mark finishes 8th, but can Henners, I don't think he's going to be close enough for a position gain. He doesn't, so P9 on track for him. Jimsy rounds out the points finishes here. Astonishing, he spun.
Oh, I mean, I don't think he would get the points. Well, probably yes, because since he had 14 and he had 9, and I think he lost there the points. But well, I really don't know. As for Dorsen, I think he crossed there, but he didn't have any penalties, so he jumped into P10.
Yeah, well, how unfortunate for him on the last corner of the last race. Varrock, he's just had a problem. He is missing the entire front wing off of that car, so he won't be too happy. But 13 laps, what a race that was. That was one of my favorite F2 races we have hosted here in the Misfits Racing League. If you're enjoying, ladies and gentlemen, then please do smash that like button. You're here for Misfits Racing League Formula 2 action. If you're just joining us, it's how we round out our racing week every week here on a Sunday. Our tiered action in the F1 cars is all throughout the week. But there we are, Brainsu, a dominant win ahead of Backrow, who took Rutenius in the last few laps there. And Rutenius shot himself in the foot, picking up a penalty. But what a great race that was, Alex. And, well, a sprint race just to come, so don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen.
It was amazing, actually. A lot of exchange. I think we were seeing like 2 exchanges per lap. And, well, the action didn't stop at any moment on these 13 laps, as Brainstu, well, had an easy win, let's say. Of course, he had to clear the traffic on the beginning, but still, he had a very good one.
Absolutely, a huge race from Brains to first with fastest lap as well. 27 points to his tally right now, plus the 4 points he got in qualifying. I would be surprised if anyone else beat him. Then you got Backrow in P2, Rutenius rounding out the podium. Matt in 4th, Fabri Flame from 18th on the grid finishes 5th. Psycho in 6th, Welsh Toast 20th to 7th, a nice drive from him. Mark 15th to 8th, Henna's in 9th, and Fordor Sedan from 17th on the grid comes home to finish 10th place to score the final points of the first race. Let's see what happens in the sprint though, because, well, it's all about to change, Alex. A shorter race, no mandatory pit stop. We didn't see a safety car or a VSC in that last race. I think we would have, though, had that big incident in the end involving Eric continued at some point earlier in the race when the safety car can come out.
Yeah, it was a very intense, and of course, if it was another lap, probably that safety car would have been sparked. But of course, it was, I think, the second to last lap. So, as we know, there's always 2 laps of green flag racing at the end, secured by the stewards. So even if it's an incident like that, we won't have a safety car, and I think even a virtual safety car, as we're going to start this sprint race, Unicorn.
Yeah, absolutely. Session countdown timer has just come to a close, and again, we will not have a formation lap. So here we go again. 3, 4, 5 red lights here on in Spa for the second and last race of the evening and the week. Who is that? Getting an excellent start for Brie Flame on the Carlin of man. Obviously, the top 8 of this last grid are reversed. So it's Welsh Toast, Psycho exchanging down into the top corner. We've got Rutenius on the outside looking for positions early on in this race. And up into P5 goes the Dutchman on his inside. Brainstu, his rival from the first race. And now a little bit of contact between the two as they go down to Eau Rouge. Rutenius, you can just hear him there. Lifts, I think, a little bit. Brainstu has had a very, very poor exit out of the Eau Rouge Rodillion complex, though. We've got a yellow flag behind.
Flag, that's Eric.
Eric is off again, and as the leaders, well, there's a lot of cars going down into turn 7. Look behind them, Mo and Matt. There's a big gaggle of cars. There are 2 cars spun round. The Prima Motorsport, I think, of Squid there getting collected as well. Moen spins it around, and I think that's Lavelle there as well getting it spun around. But a big crash.
Squid, and astonishing as well there on the exit of turn 9, I think it is, on the exit of Lycom. Right now, virtual safety car deployed after those incidents on, well, just on Lycom. It was, I think, everything what was done. I think Mo and Squid had the damage, then blocked the road, and well, damage for a lot of drivers. Only virtual safety car for them, so won't be the best thing they can have. As Psycho is now leading this race. I think he finished on P8, so he's now well, he started on pole position on this race, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, there's a lot of position changes. Psycho's up 2. Fabri Flame, he's up 2. Mark's down 2. Welsh Toast's down 2. Brainstu's gained 3 places to the start of this race. There's already a lot of penalties on this grid, and there's been a lot of exchanging. I think the reason we don't have a full safety car here is because we already had the VSC. But here we go. We're back to green flag racing. Brainstu, he's already on the hunt. So is Mark. Mark getting back past. There's a drive-through for Matt on this grid, but here we go, down towards the bus stop chicane as they come through. Turn 18, down towards the bus stop chicane. Who is that?
Oh, Matt!
Oh, Matt
Lost.
just sent it right into the rear front flame. Who's having a big crash. There's a huge incident here on the bus stop chicane. There are cars absolutely everywhere. And I don't know if anyone knows what's going on. Henna's there just waiting patiently. Squid's car is... Squid's wheel is somehow teleported
massive.
to the pit lane.
This is massive. The runners will be disqualified. And, well, it was... I mean, if you have seen the Cars movie, I think that might be the same thing as happened right now, as Brains 2 is very close on the back of Mark. He'll try it on the Kimmel Straight. We'll see right now, there's no DRS, so he's up into Slipstream and setup of Australian Speed. There's a virtual safety car as near recharge, I think, on Radillion. He lost it there.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what's quite happening here. Matt, well, he's just cutting the corner here because I think he was just making a move. And now he's letting everyone by. What on earth is going on? This race has not been anywhere near the cleanliness that we saw in that first feature race. Matt is having a huge problem here. Oh, and he's spun it. I think he was waiting for tires to cool down and he hasn't waited long enough. So, a huge problem here. But race control does not deem it necessary to have a full safety car. So Brains 2 able to overtake Mark as the VSC comes to an end. And we go back to green flag racing. The Uni Virtuosi a little bit wide, allowing Mark to try and retake P2. And retake P2 he does. Welsh Toast, Varrock, they've exchanged as well. But my oh my, that is a chaotic start to a race. We go from one of the most dramatic and entertaining races we see to one of the most chaotic races we have ever seen here in Misfits Formula 2 action. We're only on lap 2. There is still 7 laps to go in this one as Brains 2 has a look up the inside of Blanchimont, down on Mark, the high-tech GP, gives him a little bit of a wheel back.
Retinius now up into P3 as there's a spin, I think, from Matt and Puan. But he's now up into the podium, really braking late and almost tapping the rear of Mark if he didn't. But right now Mark having a good exit, but Psycho had a better one actually. The Prema driver car, as we have, I think, DRS enabled on this lap, should be done by the stewards in game. The sector 2 yellow flag is still for Matt, who is taking that Carling up to base. But Mark will have a shot right now on Camel Straight, so Psycho for the lead of this race.
Yeah, it's just to confirm, DRS is back online. Jimsy, he retires it in the pit lane. Here we go, Brains 2. He looked for Rutanius into turn 1. He didn't find it there. But now as he comes down towards Laycom, can he find it around the outside of the Dutchman? Mark hasn't found it on Psycho. Brains 2 hasn't found it on Rutanius either. Let's get some telemetry. Hennes gets out of the session here. There's been a bit of a crash. There's a yellow flag up. Who is that? I think it's Matt having still problems for Reflame. Of course, it's in the pit lane. Mark now looking for Psycho. And none of the exchanges happening here.
Yeah, they are very close to top 4. You can see there as further center as well as closing that gap.
Oh, big hit to the wall for Mark.
I really don't know what happened there, but there's, well, there goes the race for the high-tech driver. I really don't know what happened there.
It's a big snap. Like you say, I don't know what happened as he gets very close. So having a collision with Welsh Toast as Welsh Toast comes steaming past the slow mover. Matt comes out of this one.
That has been a very chaotic start. I have never seen one of this. I think, not even France, I think it was on wets when we saw a triple spin at the same time. Not even that one. I think it's even with this.
I do not know what to say in relation to what we have witnessed here in Spa. That first race was something to behold. This race, as Coffee Sipper now, is off. What has gone into these drivers' brains to now on the exit of the bus stop chicane is looking for Rutanius. These two, they've been fighting all evening long. And the Italian hasn't got it again around the outside of turn 1. Mark comes into the pit lane.
I don't know what's happening there.
Bowen's had an issue through Fuon.
I don't know if there's eyes or something on Bowen, but it seems like these drivers are really struggling in there. as Brainstein will have the double slipstream. He will try to do the hacking and move right now. Rutin is on the slipstream Psycho. Brainstein will try it on both of them. Look at this, look at this, look at this. He's on the outside. He's on the outside of Rutinius. On Lycom, we'll see who's there ahead. Seems like Rutinius will hold there on the MP Motorsport car, but it was very close to be a double overtake for Brainstein.
I wonder if these three even know what's going on behind them, because the racing they're producing is brilliant. The show that they are putting on for us right now is absolutely excellent. But elsewhere, they'll be seeing that there's only 12 cars left in the running, and they'll be wondering what on earth is going on, as drivers have retired manually in droves in the pit lane and retired in the, incidents as well. As Brainstew's got an excellent run. He maybe was thinking about having a look at turn 13 somewhere where you can get a move done if you're brave enough and you've got the speed coming out of Fuon. But we're not seeing it now as they come through Stavelot. And they're just trying to maintain themselves, keep themselves going. We're about halfway through this sprint race, and points are still on the table. And whilst, it's not every week that these guys are here, most of them are here week in, week out, and they are hunting to be, they're hunting to follow in your footsteps, Alex, become the next F2 Drivers' Champion. And right now, I think Brainstew's got a very good shot of being that, with taking that title.
Brainstew really knows when to put the nose, and right now he's being patient as Rutinius takes the fastest lap, just 2/10 better than the lap from Brainstew. Rutinius braking there. He doesn't want Brainstew to take the DRS, and right now Rutinius out of last source. He tries to take the best line possible, but not, well, he will not be able, as there's another yellow flag from Coffee Stipper on turn, on the exit of turn 14, on Zovinat's spot, I think. And right now, Brainstein will try this on the slipstream, opening the DRS. It seems like a very easy move if they're lapping Mo, and I think it is. Rutinius will try to take a little bit of a slipstream from the BWT car, but he's now down P2, and I think they are both equal on no penalties. And as Psycho is dropping a little bit there out of DRS, 1.1 is the gap between the third spot of the podium and second place, as we have another exchange, I think, on Camel Straight. Astonishing ahead of Barak.
Yeah, Rutanius and Moen, they're not teammates here, but they are in tier 3, and Rutanius now picking off Brainstew. He just seems to have a lot of pace going down into Fuon, and, well, I think it can only be put down to an excellent exit through no name, so all credit to the Dutch driver, and, well, to see him back in lead of things right now makes for a very, very exciting race. He got that position back very quickly, but it will give Brainstew DRS down into turn 7. That Lacom section of track.
He's getting closer here on the exit of turn 16. Now he's trying to get that slipstream. Who's dead? I think it's Wavy off. He lost it there on the exit of Stablo, just entering sector 3, as Brainstew is very, very close on the bus stop chicane. We will see the University car there on the outside line. Is Rutinius holding that line? Yes, he's covering that one, as Brainstew will have DRS there on the main straight. Of course, a short one, but we'll see if he wants to try the move right now. I don't think so. He just closes the DRS, but I think a little bit of lag spike from Rutinius will be, it's a consequence of Rutinius going down to P2. And Rutinius now, he needs a very good exit. He didn't have one there on last source, but now with Slipstream and DRS down to Urush and Rally on Complex, we'll see out of turn 5, he can have the run and the move for the lead of this race.
Well, Wavy's called it pit quits in the pit lane now as well. So we go down to 11 drivers, but it's Rutanius looking to return to lead of this one and finds it. He's back into P1. They're still side by side. Brainstew, I think, having to slow down a bit to let the Dutchman by so he doesn't get caught on that car. But my goodness, he's done well to keep himself going here. We're on lap 6 out of 9. Not too long to go now. The closing few laps, we've got 3.5 to go here around Belgium. There's been a fair few laps here this week. Multiple Grand Prix. And, well, next week it's Italy, the Temple of Speed. And that one, I think, going to be a very, very interesting race. But here in Belgium, I just can't believe the stark contrast between the feature race and the sprint race we've seen so far, Alex.
was so clean there. We saw on that on the main race, on the future race, and of course a lot of exchange. Right now we only have, I think, the top 3 battling for something, as Forderson is 2.6 seconds behind Psycho. Psycho trying to be holding that DRS window with the leaders, as Renstew is really pushing right now on the slipstream behind Rutenius, so he will try the move again, as I think we have seen, I think, these first 6 laps of the race, how close these drivers have been. And of course, on the future race, we saw it again. Rutenius is slowing down on the main straight. They don't want to have the DRS as Rutenius is breaking there on the main straight. A little bit dangerous, I have to say, there for the MT Motorsport driver. The DRS is so powerful, and they know it. That they don't want to be ahead of them, of the other driver. So they don't want to lose the position, but right now 7/10 is the difference between Rutenius and Brinsteel. So Rutenius is slowed down so much that he probably won't have the run even out of turn 5 and 6 to have that overtake done on lap 7.
Well, there was a little bit of contact between Rutenius and Psycho coming out of turn 1, and like you said, Rutenius is braking there a little bit dangerous and a little bit questionable down that start finish straight. You can understand why he did it, but not really. Despite your intentions, not really the best of practices to be doing. And Brainsuit, like you said, has managed. I don't know whether it was because he was slowing down, because he didn't slow down after turn 1. I think it might have been to do with the collision with Psycho and the fact that he had to defend there. That's cost him that place. And the lack of P1 now. Psycho has a 3-second time penalty, though, I do believe. I think it's just a 3-second.
Yeah, he has one. He has one. He just picked it on this lap, as Ford Dorsan is 2.6, so he's holding the pace with Psycho right now. And if he continues doing it, 2 laps and a half to go, and I think he can collect the podium. Probably the first time I have seen Ford Dorset there on the top spot of F2, and of course the Tier 3 reserve driver, I think, as well, is Ford Dorset. Right now, lap 7, and Rutenius had a mistake on Bruxelles, so I think that cost him a couple of cents between him and Brinsteel, and now outside that DRS window, and Brinsteel is really pushing and not letting Rutenius close that gap.
Eric, he's called it quits in the pit lane as well now, so we go down to half of the grid that we started with here. Considering that we finished with nearly everyone in that first race, I don't think we had a retirement until the penultimate lap. It's super disappointing to see it end like this here, but the fight at the front is still going, and Rutenius, well, again, we see him shoot himself in the foot. Last race, he picked up that penalty on the last lap fighting with Brainsuit. This time, he slowed down to try and be clever, get DRS down into Les Combes. He slowed down too much, opened the door for Psycho, had to defend, had a lot of contact. No damage to either driver, but slowed each other down. And Brainsuit now, well, you said it yourself, Alex, he knows when to put his nose in, and he knows when to do and what to do and when to do it. I mean, it's worked out for him here. He just had to be patient and wait for Rutenius to get a little bit cocky and, well, make a mistake that ultimately he didn't have to make.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference between probably a Tier 1 driver and Rutenius' high pace on Tier 3. And, well, Brinsteel probably playing more clever on this stage of the race. I think he actually won on Tier 1 on track, but after penalties he got demoted to P2, if I'm not mistaken there, Italian for Alfa Romeo. So I think he really likes this track. And, well, I think we saw the pace on Tier 1. We see the pace almost every week here for the Italian. And right now, well, just doing what he knows to do, is just racing clean, fast, and clever. Right now, 1 second, I think, per lap is faster than his rival on P2, Rutenius.
Oh, Psycho! He's out! He's had a huge snap and he's hit the wall on the inside coming out of campus. And oh my goodness, I wasn't expected to see that. But four-door sedan now into the podium positions. And even now, in these late stages of the race, Alex, we are seeing drama. We are seeing retirements. Only 9 drivers left in this one. Moen, well, he needs to unlap himself on Psycho's retired car there to get himself up into P9. But my goodness, this is unbelievable what we are witnessing here at Spa.
Very intense, very intense. I think Psycho knew he had to really push there on this final stage, as Fordersen was keeping the pace. I think I've never seen that good performance for Fordersen. He's right now on the podium, but he was on the podium already, of course, and not on track, but on penalties, as he was clear on penalties, and Psycho, of course, having to push and open that gap of 3 seconds. Well, I think then that was the consequence we have seen right now. He lost it on the AEST of Campos on turn 14, and a very common mistake, I think probably too much curb on the inside of that sim corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now it's all eyes on this man right here, Brainsuit, leading the race. No on-track battles. The grid has really spaced itself out after this one, and it's just been a race of attrition, a race of survival, as it were, because everyone has just been having a real struggle here, except for this man right here. It has been crazy. Absolutely insane.
Well, we saw it on the chat. I think it was Douglas who said, not wishing anyone else to go out, but if there is another DNF, everyone scores points, and Psycho had that mistake, and well.
Oh, Brainsuit spun it.
I don't care. I don't really.
Brutanius is into P1. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Four-door sedan overtakes the Italian. Welsh Toast might get him too here. Brainstew has lost the podium. Spa has had some sort of problem here. The F2 cars have had no grip, and Rutanius, from absolutely nothing clicking going his way in those last couple of laps, wins the sprint race here in Spa. Four-door sedan picks up P2, and Welsh Toast finishes 1 second, nearly to the dot, ahead of Brainstew, who has looked so confident, so composed up this entire race, and he's finished P4. Astonishing is going to cross the line in P5. Depending on how many penalties he's got, he might get demoted. I don't think he will. It's 11.3 seconds to Varrock behind him. Varrock is going to take P6, I think, here in Spa. He does. Back row will cross 7th. What on earth have we just witnessed?
He has a puncher.
Oh
Back
my
row
god,
with
he
the puncher.
does.
This has been just a different race, I will have to say. It was different. All the carnage we had on lap 1, even on well, I think it was lap 1 on Lycombe, and as well on bus stop chicane. You had a lot of drivers spinning, having damage. Of course, you can see there on the time tower, 11 DNFs, and a mistake from the leader on just, well, one sector to go. And he had a mistake on turn 16, entering sector 3. And well, just after I said everything about Brinsteel, what a good driver of tier 1 driver, he really needs to when to push and when to not. I think he pushed too much. Probably he was trying to set fastest lap back to fastest lap. And well, there he found the mistake. And well, I think he's regretting a little bit.
A little bit. I think he will be kicking himself after losing that one, as Coffee Sipper now comes through the bus stop chicane for the final time. This it. I cannot believe it. I think that might be a deliberate donut. I'm not gonna lie. That looked very planned.
Oh, it was a 360 as we saw today on Apex with Remco.
My goodness. If that wasn't deliberate, he made that spin look very stylish, if that was a mistake.
Astonishing getting the driver of the day, where I have to say, for me, it was four-door sedan. He didn't got caught in any incident, and not only that, but he had the pace. He was matching the pace with Psycho, and well, Retinas will take P1 on the MP Motorsport car, and second place will be for four-door sedan. I think rounding the podium was Welsh Toast, if I'm not mistaken. There as well, keeping the pace consistent. But I think, for me, four-door sedan will take the win. But Retinas and Brins too. Well, what amazing battles we had there on the first 7 laps of this sprint race, and of course on the future race.
Yeah, those two. What a rivalry! You know, we were saying it there that Rutenius showed a little bit of, you know, a lack of what would you say, experience maybe that separates him and Brainstew. But considering that Rutenius is a tier 3 driver and he's sort of held a candle to Brainstew being a tier 1, obviously this is the F2 versus the F1. I think he'd be very proud, and with P1 here, I think he'd be very happy. Four-door in P2, Welsh Toast P3, Brainstew P4, Astonishing P5, Varrock, back row, Coffee Sipper, the other point scoring position, Moulton the only other finisher, a lap down. Let's have a look at the overall results though. Brainstew still wins by 11 points in P1, Rutenius P2, 15 points in both races. Backrow P3, Welsh Toast P4, four-door P5, Matt, Fabry Flame, Psycho, Astonishing, and Mark round out the top 10. Then we have Varrock, Henners, and Coffee Sipper, the only others to score points. Mo and Eric, Wavy, Jimsy, Neon, Lavelle, and Squid. The other races in this one, but my goodness, Alex, I am so flabbergasted by what we have seen. That was absolutely crazy.
It was crazy. I mean, not only this, the feature race was amazing to watch in terms of racing. A lot of overtakes there. As I said, we had a lot of work to do with the cameras there to keep all the racing well on the shot. And not only that, but then we had that sprint race that ended with the victory for the Italian driver as he found the curb there on the exit of Stabilo and spun it by himself. And not only that, but of course a lot of carnage there, as I said already, on the first part of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just about wraps up everything we've got here in Formula 2. And I think, well, I don't think there's going to be much more considering, well, that was dramatic, action-packed. Both races, both for very different reasons. But my goodness, that was quite the spectacle. That's for sure. But thank you, everyone, all for watching along with us here for the Misfits Formula 2 action. Here, as always, on the YouTube channel. We will kick off Italian Grand Prix action on Tuesday, and I'll be Alex and Striffium commentating Tier 3 over on the Twitch the same time as this, 8 p.m. BST or 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for those of us, our friends in America. But other than that, make sure you're following us on socials here on YouTube, over on the Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of that good stuff. And if you could smash the like button here on this stream, it really helps us out and means a lot. And also a big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, wheel stand, that kind of thing, check them out in the link down in the description on their website. It would mean the world to us, and they're doing great things for the sim racing community. So you'd be doing yourself a favor as well. But we can't raid anyone here on YouTube, unlike on Twitch, but we can hit you with the outro. So we're going to do that. But until next time, thank you all very much for watching and enjoy the rest of your evening.
We are back. We are back with some Tier 1 action.
And that is the AlphaTauri of Adrian, straight head on into the Red Bull. And the Kai Bacchini has joined the party, and he's on these medium compound tires in the Merc. This very late braking from the Ferrari. He locks up and he blocks Zamis. And who is that? That is Jean with a fantastic exit, and he is going to get ahead of both of them here. So I believe it's crossing the line now, checkered flag. Adam and Bajar the first two to catch it early. Vettel now rounding the final two turns of 22 and 23 here in Singapore. The Racing Points collect the 1-2. Battery, there goes Ben the Bear now just ahead, taking the checkered flag, coming through the Casio triangle. It's still wheel to wheel between these two. Mick out with a great traction. Oh, what a run out of the chicane, and he gets it done. How's the exit for the Ferrari? Good so far. You can see wheel to wheel coming down the straight into turn 4. It's the Ferrari leading through. Ben, wheel to wheel now with Revo, and he has so much pace in this Racing Point right now. It's wheel to wheel between these two. How's somebody gonna go? He's drifted off. Does the exit? What an exit out of the Williams. Does he get him? There's a big snap. Jake looking on the inside of 8 and 9. It's the Mercedes coming around the outside of 9. Does he get this move done on Tim? This is huge. This is absolutely massive. A drag race coming through 10 now, down into 11. Here we go, and Zamis has the popcorn.
But Yuki tries to turn in, and Domi just says,
oh, the stars.
Goes for a second.
What a move from the stars. That is the Renault of Van Putten up the inside of the Williams into turn 1. Freeware's gonna get Yoda. Freeware's gonna get Yoda.
Yoda wins the race!